So this is what we're going to be working on today, the interactive notebook for percentage basics. We're only going to be doing this first page right in here. So you can ignore the second one. It's the next 2 pages in your interactive notebook packet, but this one only has like 2 things to it. Now, the way this is folded is going to be a little bit more complicated than usual. So pay attention for just a minute. Let me open up to the right page. Okay, so as you all can kind of see, I'm going to do it this way. Stop share. Hit. Here, wait, hold on. I wanted to spotlight. Sorry, hold on. Okay, spotlighting. So this is kind of what it looks like. Mine got a little bit trashed up, so that's fun. This first one's pretty easy. You're just gonna fold it sideways like you would normally. The vocab is pretty normal, but then you get to these. So the ones that say write each percent as a fraction and a decimal. When you look at them in your actual chart, they're long like this. So they've got 3 different parts to them. You're going to glue just the top part, and then obviously you're going to cut down the middle of the 2. And then when you fold them, you're going to fold down and then back out so that it kind of closes up like that. And then when you're actually using it, you can flip this open, pull it down like this, like a little bit of a tab. So that one's a little bit on the complicated side. That's a different kind than we usually use. These are all going to be kind of the same deal, where they fold down like this. So you can kind of put them back in, almost like they're little folding tabs. They come up and down. And then these last ones are also the same thing.
So it's the first 2 pages?
Triple folds. Yeah, it's the first 2 pages in the new notebook, or the next 2 pages in the new notebook, whichever 2 you have. They should be on top. But yeah, they're going to fold kind of weird like that. So if you're having issues with that, just let me know and I'll try to problem solve that through the internet with magic, because that's the only way we can do it right now. But we're just doing this first page right here. Now we're actually going to take the notes for today, but there's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things to actually write. So we should be able to get through it pretty quick. How's it going, Dakota? Let's see, did I get everybody else that showed up? I think so. So those of you that showed up a little bit late, the 2 pages look like this. And then you've got these weird little triple folds on all of the folding bits. So here, I'll label them in a second. I did give you an assignment, you'll see. So I'm going to call these triple folds. So all the triple fold ones, they have kind of like this pull down tab. So they come in the little charts of 3. You're going to fold this one up and then fold it underneath like that. So then they'll stay in a little thing, and then you can just kind of. You have to make the sound effect every time you open them. It's a rule. Yes, Tristan, that looks good.
I am not making a sound effect every time I open it.
You have to. That's the rule.
No.
Rip, rip.
I already did my podcast, and since my Wi-Fi or like internet went down, I had lots of problems with it, and it kept like doubling up my words. I kept saying it would like go lockdown or something like that.
Nice. Sounds like built-in sound effects. So I'm going to give you guys a decent bit of time before we actually move on to the notes for this, but please make sure you get them cut and folded as quickly as possible. One other thing I do want to add, interactive notebooks, I feel like people have not been doing all the time. Not everybody, but some people seem to not have notes when we come to tests and things. So if I need to, I will start requiring these as an actual assignment and making you take pictures of them to show that you've taken your notes and all that stuff. But we really shouldn't have to. I mean, this is like, these are free things that tell you how to do problems that you get to use on tests. They should be, something that you want to do, because they will help your grade quite a bit. So please don't make me require them as assignments. It sounds like a lot of effort on my part. Is there a way to... Okay, what does everybody think? 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or 7 minutes to finish this?
I only need like
100.
2.
I heard a vote for 2 and 600.
4.
4, 7, 3.
I only need like 2. So
All right, I'm going to check in about 5 minutes and we'll see where everybody's at. How about that? So if you finish early, then you get a, I don't know, watch Grayson's YouTube channel apparently.
and to watch what?
Grayson's YouTube channel.
That's not a reward.
I was making a joke, Tristan, because you kept saying, never mind.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
You don't actually have to. Kids don't take jokes very well sometimes. Also, while you're working, those of you that have not finished the proportional variation quiz from yesterday, please hang out after class today and get that done. It is due by the end of school day tomorrow, so it needs to be finished by 3 o'clock tomorrow. But now would be the best time to work on it, or today, I guess, would be the best time to work on it, where both Barb and I can give you some help. Most people are finished, but those of you that aren't, today is a good day to work on it. Okay, so let's do a quick check-in. How much more time do you need if you need more time, or are you done?
Done.
1 minute.
I heard done. I heard 1 minute. I see 6 minutes. I see done. Okay, let's middle ground it. We'll shoot for 2.5.
How about you just put on a minion video and yeah.
Don't know what that is.
You don't know what a minion is.
Wait, minion? Like from that evil, or what's it called? Megamind?
This-
No. It was the Steve Carell one. Despicable Me.
Yeah. Can't pronounce that word.
I'm too old. Can't do this. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of dones. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the actual thing. If you aren't quite finished cutting things out, feel free to keep cutting them out and then you can write them in as we go. If you need to see this again at the end of class, I'd be happy to come back to it. So basic learning targets, all we're doing this week is learning how to convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages, which for the most part is pretty quick and easy, which is why we're going to be doing, we had a quiz yesterday and we're going to have another mini quiz on Friday. But I think this whole bit is going to be review for you guys. It should be relatively easy. So I don't think there's going to be any major issues with it. So percentage, this is our only vocabulary word for the week. It is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So what the word percent actually means, you can break it into per and cent. Per is like in miles per hour or, days per week or whatever. It's basically just saying the number of things in another thing, and the cent is 100. So basically you can think of it as in, so like a percentage is out of 100. Okay, Dawn is with you. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know that, Carmen. Let me fix it. So for instance, when we see something like this, like 10% or 25% or 50%, whatever, what they're basically saying is it's this much out of 100. So 10% is equal to 10 over 100. 23% is equal to 23 over 100. Which, by the way, coincidentally, is how you convert percentages to fractions. If we want to convert 10% to a fraction, we can write it as 10 over 100 and then just reduce, right? So then it goes down to 1 over 10. Some percentages, you'll probably end up memorizing the fractions that go along with them. Like you'll probably get to the point where you know just off the top of your head what 25% is as a fraction. But that's not necessarily, you don't need to. Any questions or anything? Tristan, do you want to hum us a song? No. Okay. All right. Are we good to move on? Or does anybody need more time?
I'm pulling my very last.
Okay. Let's move on. So writing percents as fractions and decimals. I believe this is already written down in your interactive notebook. Let me double check. I don't think. Hold on. Let me see. I lost it. Sorry, lost the page. Okay, yeah, these are already written in your actual interactive notebook. They're in the right percentages as fractions and decimals thing, so you shouldn't need to actually write anything in here. But to write a percent as a fraction, this is what I just talked about. So write the value of the percent in the numerator of the fraction and 100 in the denominator, then simplify. So like I was just saying, write whatever the number is. So let's say you had 42%. You would write this as 42 over 100. That would be step 1. And then step 2 is to simplify. So this one we can break down to 21 over 50. And I don't think we can reduce it beyond that. To write a percent as a decimal, you write it as a fraction and then convert the fraction to a decimal by dividing. So in general, you can, hold on, sorry, somebody just joined. So you can write it out just like this, like let's say you had 31%. You could write that as 31 over 100, and then you can divide those out to get 0.31. Another way to do this is if you think about it, since percent basically means you're just over 100, if you have any kind of percentage, like let's say you have 52%, you can just write this as 0.52. If you have 33%, then that's 0.33. If you have 2%, this is where it gets tricky. You can't just write this as 0.2. It's got to be 0.02 because remember, it's out of 100. Okay, let's look in a little bit more detail. Oh, this is already solved for you. Okay, my bad. Should have animated these. I did not. So this one says write each percent as a fraction and as a decimal. So for 25%, we would take it into 25 over 100. That's right here. Which we can simplify. We can divide the top and the bottom by 25. That's just going to give us 1 over 4. And then to convert to a decimal, same idea. We already have the fraction. We know it's 1 over 4. So we can do 1 divided by 4. If you plug that into a calculator, it's usually the easiest way to do it. you're going to get 0.25. So in this case, we have 25%, which is equal to 1/4 or 0.25. And again, if we do this the just dividing by 100 way, you have 25%, which would just go to 0.25. Is this something you all have seen before, or is this brand new? Seen it? Okay. I just want to make sure.
That white screen behind you, it looks like you're outside.
No, I'm in a different classroom this time. It's not mine
Looks like
or
you're
Mrs. Adams. I'll probably be here for like another week and a half, basically until we get internet in the new building. Okay, are we good to move on, or do you guys need a little more time with this one?
No.
All right.
Good.
So unfortunately, the next one's probably also not going to be animated. So let's do this one instead of in the slides. Let's try it on a whiteboard. So let me switch it up. Let's go here. All right. So now we want to write 88% as both a fraction and as a decimal. So first of all, as a fraction, how do I start doing this one? Can anybody tell me? Yep, 88 over
88
100.
over.
Oh, sorry, Tristan. Jasmine said it in the chat, but yes, 88 over 100. So Tristan, is there anything you can do to reduce this? Do you see anything you can do?
Yes and no.
Okay, anybody have an
Well,
idea?
yeah, you can divide by 4. Well,
Yeah, good. We can divide top and bottom by 4. So if we do that, we're going to get 88 divided by 4 is 22. And on the bottom, we'll have 25. Then from here, we can't really reduce this any further. So this is our final fraction, 22 over 25. Now, for a decimal, we can use this fraction. You can plug this into a calculator and see what you get. Or we can do it the way I was talking about. You have 88%. Writing it as a decimal, looks like a couple of you already got it. You just do 0.88. Now, there is a reason that we don't teach it this way right off the bat, and you're going to see that in just a little bit. But here's a question for you. What is 100 and, oops, I messed that up. So let's say 111%. What is this as a decimal? Can anybody tell me?
Zero 0.111.
It is not 0.111.
0.11 then.
So it's actually, Janie and Dakota both got it. It is actually 1.11. So remember, this is divided by 100. And so the reason we tell you to do it as a fraction first is because if you have something like this, a percentage that's 111, if you write this over 100, it's really easy to see that this number is bigger than the bottom, which means you're going to have over 1. So in this case, it'd be 1.11. Remember, you're just dividing by 100. But we'll look at that in a little bit more detail in a second. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. So here is 85%. This is drawn out in detail. You can see that the fraction is in fact 22 over 25, and the decimal is 0.88. Give you guys a little bit more time with that, and then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Anybody need more time? Okay. So we're going in reverse now. So we want to write each decimal as a percent. Now this is giving you two different methods. The first one is to rewrite it as a fraction, in which case you can just put it into a percent directly. And the other is multiply it by 100. So you can use whichever method you like better. Personally, I prefer the method 2, but I know some people use method 1. Doesn't really matter which one you do, but for now, at least, you want to be taking notes on both so that you can practice with both. So the first one, all we're doing is putting it as a fraction again. And when you have a decimal like 0.65, we can put that as a fraction as 65 over 100. That's just multiplying. If you think about it, this would be 0.65 over 1. We just multiplied the top and the bottom by 100. And then we have our ratio over 100, so that is just 65%. Method 2, multiplying by 100, you just take the decimal, multiply it by 100. So the next one, again, I'm going to do this on a whiteboard instead. Oh, did everybody get that one? Do we need more time on it?
No more time.
If anybody missed something, I can go back to it. So the next one is going to be 0.5. And we want to write this as a decimal. So let's start with method 1. Or sorry, we want to write this as a percent. And then we'll have method 2. So method 1, we want to write this as a fraction. What would my fraction be here? Yeah, so it's going to be 5 out of 10 to start. Could do 1/2. 5 out of 10, this isn't over 100 yet. So we need to multiply the top and the bottom by 10 in this case. And that'll give us 50 over 100, which means we now have our percent, which is 50%. Method 2, here we'd have 0.5 times 100. 0.5 times 100 is also 50%. So here's what it looks like in more detail. So we've got our 5 out of 10 equals 50 over 100 equals 50%, or just 0.5 times 100 equals 50%. So this last one, I want you guys to tell me, what is 1.44 as a fraction and 1.44 as a percent? Yep, that is correct for the fraction, Addie, 144 over 100. So you can start out 144 over 100. So what would that be as a percent?
104%.
Yep, 144%. And then we can do the same thing. So if we do multiply by 100, you can use a calculator for this, or you can just move the decimal place 2 times to the right. So you'll get 144%. So that's what that looks like here. So any questions on how to do this part? This is going to be the majority of what your homework is, just converting between decimals and percentages. And then tomorrow we'll work on fractions and percentages, but Jasmine is very German today. Okay, last 2 things. We've got fractions as a percent now. So first off, we have 7/10. So the first thing we can do is we can take the fraction and make the denominator 100. That's one of the easiest ways to do it with fractions. The other way is to convert it to a decimal and then multiply by 100. So again, whichever one you like better. In this case, since we're starting with 7/10, we can just multiply the top by 10, multiply the bottom by 10 to get 70 over 100, which gives us our percentage. Or what we can do is start it by converting it to a decimal. In this case, 7 over 10 is 0.7. Multiply by 100, you get 70%. So whichever one of these you prefer. Give you all a second to copy this one down, and then we'll look at 2/5 as a group. We're going to get out of here right about on time. Okay, does anybody need more time on this one? Okay, I think we're good. All right, so last one, again, we're gonna do it in a whiteboard, not in the thing, because it'll tell you the answer right away. So this time we want to convert 2/5 into a percent. So let's do method 1 and method 2. How do I get this into a fraction that has 100 in the denominator? What do I need to multiply the top and the bottom by?
2, and then add the place values over.
So that is one way to do it. We could multiply by 2 and 2 and then add zeros to both, or we could just multiply by 20. Either one of those works. So that'll give us 40 over 100. And what is 40 over 100 as a percentage?
40.
Yeah. So it's going to be 40%. And the other way to do this is divide these out. So 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. 0.4 times 100. Again, we move the decimal place and we'll get equals, so it's supposed to be 100, not 1,000, equals 40%. So here that is, again, in a little bit more nice handwriting, I guess. So we've got 2/5 goes to 40 over 100 or 40%, or we can write it as 0.4 multiplied by 100 and we get 40%. All right. So if you don't have any questions, if you're all good to go on that, then all you need to do is the homework assignment for today is called, let's see. It's either the math-based task, decimals and percentages, or IXL L1. Like when we do IXLs by themselves, so this is just one IXL. So if you get to 70, you'll get a 3. If you get to 80, you'll get a 4. But otherwise, that's all you guys need to do today. So feel free to take off. Oh, sorry, I'll put that back up. Have a good rest of your day. If you haven't finished the